I wanted to fly, Superman does, and feel tremendous, 'cause what goes up.
Hi guys, this is Katie with Songwriters Vantage. We are here, we are at another Blue and Green showcase with our friend MOI Navarro, known by MOI, who just did another killer performance on stage. What a voice you have.
Flew with the stars, flew with the stars, yeah.
You know, I happen to know that you are a professional writer by day. You work for Disney, and you know, just let us know. We're a songwriter website, so we'd love some, you know, some tips from you, as you make your living as a songwriter, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that I make a living as a songwriter. Tips.
Lucky.
Tips for songwriting.
I mean, what did you do, basically?
What did I do?
Yeah. How'd you...
Not give up, really. I mean, if you want to know the story, it's a lot simpler than it is complicated. I think who you know is important as much as working on what you believe in. And it's not one thing or another. At least it wasn't for me. It was a combination of certain things that. You know, perfect timing and just working hard and not giving up. And you know, I remember the day I got the call to do that. It was the furthest thing from my mind that would ever happen.
Like what was the call? Elaborate on it.
Well, basically, you know, there were friends that we had met playing shows out in the desert in the middle of nowhere years ago, and so. They had since then gone on to do other things within the company of like Disney and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, the name came up one day, and you get that one opportunity, right?
Someone who knew of you and knew of your...
You know, and that had worked with us and had seen us. And one thing led to another. I got a call. They heard the music, and then, you know, it seems like it's just like, whew, it happened. Opportunities come every day, and you get to meet people every day. But if you're not constantly working on your craft, you're missing out on the opportunity to really convince somebody that they should take a chance on you. And I'm not, by no means am I the best songwriter or the best player or the best, you know, whatever. But I can say I'm someone who hasn't given up, who's been doing it for a long time. And it just happened that the right timing came, and people were... They gave an ear to listen and got excited about what's happening, and I'm blessed and fortunate for that. But if anything, you know, you can't have one without the other. I think you've got to put in your time, you've got to write. And then at the end of the day, no matter who you are, you're only as good as the last thing you wrote.
Right, you got to stay on top of it and keep doing what...
Yeah, and you have to do it because you love it. And, you know, to be completely honest with you, had I never gotten that call and that opportunity to jump on board with what Disney's doing, I would still be writing. Because I love to write. Because it's going on in my head every single moment. As we're talking right now, I've already written... No, I'm just kidding.
No, he has. He's not lying. He really has. He's written a song while we're sitting here. I sat in a room with this guy. We had a writer's camp, and you had... It seems so basic, but it was such a really neat tip for writers that whenever you have an idea, you categorize it into... I love that, though. Just share with us what you do.
Sure. Maybe it's because I used to be a swim instructor, right? And when you teach somebody how to swim, you're teaching them how to do like 3 or 4 times things at the same time. So you've got to hold your breath. You've got to then move your arms, and you have to kick your feet. And the combination of those 3 things entails swimming. But yet it's 3 completely different movements that you're synchronizing at the same time. Well, with music, it's kind of the same thing. You're creating a rhythm, and then you're creating melody, and then within that melody and that rhythm, you're saying something. So what I was saying that night is just as simple as, you know, you're not going to be able to kind of be amazing at the backstroke every night or every day or every whatever, whatever. But you can practice. So when I think of a melody, I jot it down. When I think of a word, I jot it down. When I think of a rhythm, I jot it down, so that I have an archive of rhythms, melodies, and themes. And when I sit down to write a song, I'm not just trying to all of a sudden kind of like create this like triad of goodness. Boom. I can kind of go back and say, oh, well, what about this melody that I worked on? And then, because I've got a really cool word or lyric for it, or a theme, and then you start combining it together. But you're always kind of like, sometimes you just think of rhythms, so you write down those rhythms, or you just think of melodies, and then you combine them. I think that's what we were talking about. But
hey, Matt, I mean, it just makes it easier when you're going to the table and you have to have something. And you were explaining this library that he has based on your work. Expand on a little, because you're a writer for Disney. I mean, they employ you and they ask you to write songs, and your turnaround, I mean, you've got to write stuff for them really quickly, right? And that's why your library also helps you, because you can pick out keywords of what you're looking for to write for a particular thing, right?
Yeah, well, particularly with what goes on with Disney, it's all a lot more melody based, and so it helps when I get the call. And kind of the assignment, and it's due in like, I've got 2 weeks to come up with like this amazing song on like colors or counting or like whatever it is that's going on, and that I'm writing. So you pull out that library. It's an amazing library. It's called the Modern.
Only imagine.
And it's full of like, it's got probably like 2,000 little melodies that I've got during the day as I'm driving back and forth from the desert to LA.
You're going to move here soon though, right?
Yes, coming to LA soon.
Yay.
Soon.
But in the meantime,
I've got a lot of driving time, and I've got a lot of melodies that I can kind of pull out and just listen and be like, oh, that sounds really good. That sounds like that would go really good with like this Earth Day song that we need to write next week or whatever. And then you get to writing an Earth Day song, but the feel and the melody have already kind of been, you're constantly just working. It doesn't mean you have to be like an amazing songwriter that day, because I don't feel that way. Maybe there are people who can just sit down and write an amazing song every day, every single second of their lives. But for me, sometimes it just takes, just constantly not giving up those ideas. And sometimes you get lucky and you write something amazing on the spot. That's cool. But when you're doing it all the time, you kind of have to be okay with it coming from different places. And
you've got Disney coming to you, but I mean, people who all of a sudden get an email like, hey, they're looking for this kind of a song, and you can pull from what you've got and see if you can pull it off. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. And, just write from your heart. Write from your heart, lay it down, and at the end of the day, you have it. Because if you didn't write down what was in your heart that day, it's harder to be like, oh, what was that? Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome, but I didn't write it down. So just, even if it's just as simple as like a little MP3 version on your iPhone of an idea that you had, you can always go back and you can kind of, because you were able to capture that moment, you can go back and you can listen to it, and then you can say, oh, it was okay. Or, oh, that was so awesome. That was great. I want to channel that, and I want to create something on top of that, and then you have it. Amen,
baby. We love it. So, and where can we find you and stay in touch with your stuff?
Yeah, you can find me at moinavarro.com. That's MOINAVARRO.com, moinavarro.com. And then that'll send you to the Facebook, if you still do MySpace.
It's coming back, I'm telling you.
Back, we're working on it.
Supposedly.
Well, if it does, man, we got a lot of friends on there that we lost. Yeah. And it's going to be huge. And
hang in there.
Millions of plays on MySpace.
Wasted time.
Yeah, that's another song.
See, there you go. You can write a song about it. He plays all these showcases, and he's driving out here and coming, working so hard when you probably don't even have to. But we appreciate it, and you garner more. Well,
you have to.
Really hard for it.
You have to. If you love it, you have to. And you just do it because you love it, and it's an honor to be a part of this. I feel like a little itty bitty toad in a big pond of amazing people. So I'm just excited to be a part of it.
I speak on behalf of Green Roots, saying you are a large toad. And it just wouldn't be the same without you. So guys, check him out, moynavarro.com, right? moynavarro.com, and we'll stay in touch. And we really appreciate it. You're adorable.
Thank you, Katie. You're awesome.
We love him. He's a friend, guys. Stay in touch with this guy for now. From Room 5, signing off from another Blue Green Showcase. Katie Shorey for Songwriters Vantage. Bye, guys.
I broke into a million pieces, each piece in 1,000 creases. A memory in my heart, now I look at the stars. On a sweet Sunday morning,